Go ahead.
Okay. Sorry, I kind of had like 3 questions.
I'll repeat them too so we can hear them. Go ahead.
The dinner scene, were you kind of like grossed out about it, or like did like, I don't know, they tell you ahead of time, well, we're making it out of this or something like that?
Were you grossed out over the dinner scene?
No, I don't think I was, because when I was young, I just heard this when I was in Sweden the last time from one of the farmers there. My father was very good at butchering a cow or something. And one of the young boys at this farm, they had asked my dad to butcher a cow. And my dad had the eye, and he said to the young boy, he said, I'm going to put this here to keep an eye on you. And that young man now is 50 years old, but he remembers that. So how could I be grossed out by Louis Jourdan sucking on an eye?
A fake eye.
A fake eye. It was
A
actually
chocolate eye.
marzipan. I'm a cowgirl, I can handle it.
And how was Roger Moore on the set for you two?
Working with Roger Moore.
Funny. Always cracking jokes.
Yeah, always making coffee for us every morning. It was fabulous. He was such a gentleman.
Yeah.
Such a fabulous man. And I remember when we were traveling, how he was packing in his suitcase. I don't know why I saw him packing, but everything had like silk tissue paper in between, so everything was like straight and nothing became wrinkled.
Wow.
So we went to the next destination, everything was perfect, he didn't have to have anything ironed. It was fabulous.
And I'll just ask this question for the ladies. Was Roger a good kisser?
He wants to know if Roger Moore was a good kisser.
Well, I didn't kiss him for real. I didn't do any tongue things.
Well,
We just pretended to, so I really don't know.
Well, actually, I had to, because the director said, I want you to attack Roger. I want you to devour him. So I said, well, okay then. So I said, Roger, are you ready for this? He said, yeah, bring it on. So yeah, he was a good kisser. Absolutely.
All the way in the back?
I apologize, I came late because I just arrived. I have 2 questions for both of you. And the first question is, was your voices, like, boxers is famous for redubbing voices, especially some of the women. Mary, was your voice dubbed for Unusual Kill?
I don't think so.
Okay. How about you?
And mine was definitely not.
Next question is for Kristina. There's a teaser preview in Octopussy where you're in bed with Roger, and Roger gets up before the end of the teaser saying, "The things I do for England." Do you remember that? Doing that scene?
Yeah, I vaguely do.
Will it be in the movie, or did you just do that for the preview?
I think they did that for some trailers. And there was also another trailer where we broke out. I mean, I literally couldn't keep from laughing, you know, when I'm going to say my famous line. They showed that in the theaters as a trailer. But it didn't end up in the movie, of course. It wouldn't have been appropriate with me laughing my head off, saying that's my little Octopussy. You know?
My last part is, with the deleted scenes, was there anything that you were part of that never made it into the film?
I can't think of anything, except I was disappointed because we were supposed to ride after Roger when he's chasing down the plane where Kabir Bedi is taking off with Maud at the end there. Some of us girls, and I love horses and I love to ride rank horses, so I was looking forward to my wild ride chasing Roger in the plane, you know. But it didn't happen that way because they rearranged the script a little bit, so I was much more in Roger's corner than I was chasing him, you know, at the end there. So, yeah, we had big plans for that.
Mary, was there any?
I was sneaking around, like crawling in India, spying on Roger, and we filmed it for like hours, and that never made it either.
How about were you put good? Was there anything extra before your entrance scene?
No, that was all
No,
there.
all
Yeah,
everything there is what you shot.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Thank you very much.
Go ahead.
Your experience with Louis Jourdan.
My experience was wonderful with Louis. Both he and his wife came with us to India, and we lived in the same hotel. Most of the girls lived at the Lake Palace.
Yeah,
and-
where we shot, you know, where we
Yeah,
filmed.
and Roger and his wife and I and
Louis.
Maud,
Louis Wood.
and Louis and his wife, we lived at this hotel, and we would get together for dinners. And Roger and Louis were a perfect match comedically, and we would have the best after dinner talks. And I would just sit there and just marvel at how smart and witty these two men were, and how they bounced off of each other. You know, they were just really. He was delightful. Although I understood later, I didn't know it at the time, that they had lost a son not too long before filming Octopussy. So they were dealing with the grief, but they did it very privately. Yeah.
I just remember him as a very quiet man who was very, not stern, but very conservative, just walking around, and I never really approached him.
Yeah, he was, it's really, and we were invited to the Maharana's palace that were just a little further down from where the other palace was. Everything was a palace there, you know. But, and we were having cocktails that evening, and we came into this room, and it was an octagon room, and India's national animal is a Bengal tiger, and they had taxidermied Bengal tigers out of each and every octagon panel in that room, and they served rose petal liqueur, and they told us how many roses it took to make one little glass of this liqueur. It was something unbelievable. And when you tasted it, it was like an explosion of roses, but in a good way. You know, it was so fragrant, the liqueur. I've never tasted anything like that. Not even the best Chateau de Cam or whatever wine you want to compare it to. It was quite an interesting experience. And he had pictures of President Kennedy with himself and different dignitaries. So it was truly an exotic time we had there in India.
Yeah, I remember that party at the Maharaja's palace.
Yeah.
And I remember being all happy and drinking the champagne and everything. Then I walked out the door and I was like, no, I don't want to drink any more champagne. I don't want this. Because it was such a culture shock, where the people were literally in sores outside the door, clawing at us.
Yeah.
It was horrendous to me. I couldn't eat for a week after that,
Yeah.
or drink.
And being that I happen to be an animal lover, and I did a poster with a live Bengal tiger, it really hurt me to see these, taxidermied tigers on the wall, because it was a little too much. Like Mary says, it was a culture shock.
Mm-hmm.
And then Maud and I would walk out, outside into the town, because it was a university town, so there were a lot of young people. And when they saw us together, they said, "Wait, there's two of you." They thought we were the same height and Swedish. I guess we looked the same. They didn't realize there were two of us until they saw us together.
We'll turn over to two more questions, and then we will let them hit the pillow, because they're probably used to West Coast time. So in the morning, while we're all waking up, they're usually still sleeping. So, there was a couple more hands. Yep, go ahead.
Actually, I have a question for Kristina, kind of a follow-up to a previous one. So, based on about the horseback riding scene, was Magda originally going to stay bad the entire time, and they changed her to be good later on?
You know, I don't know, but in the script, we had that horseback riding sequence written in. And as the movie evolved, I guess, you know, it just, and it was also a very dangerous stunt. And they were not sure about horses, that they could find horses that would be appropriate for, you know, riding that fast under, you know, that sort of ground. So they settled for one stuntman, meaning Roger, you know, riding like crazy after the airplane. Yeah, but they made me a great outfit for that. And that outfit I wished I'd kept. Oh my gosh. Leather pants, you know, those gaucho things, and a beautiful swashbuckling white blouse and headband. Oh, it was magnificent. Yeah.
And one more question. I saw a few hands, and now they are down. Okay. So we want to thank the lovely ladies who came here this entire weekend, not just this night. Just a small little reminder, I've always said they go out of their way to come here. It's not just the distance. The car has to go be parked at the airport, the dog has to be put in the kennel. There's a lot of details that get involved with that, so they go a little extra out of their way just to come see us this weekend. So we thank them very much for coming, and they are here all weekend, so if you have not met them yet, you can go ask another question tomorrow, get their autograph if you haven't, and we thank you very much.
Okay,
Thank you for having us.
Thank you very much.